U.S. President-elect Donald Trump will be inaugurated for the second time today. The inauguration will kick off in Washington, D.C. at around noon local time. Let's get the very latest now. Kate Fisher, SABC News Correspondent, joins us live now. Kate, good afternoon to you and thank you so much for your time. Just about a short while ago, we saw President-elect Donald Trump arriving there with the incoming First Lady, meeting outgoing President Joe Biden, as well as, Jill Biden, the outgoing First Lady as well. Let's talk about this tradition, that often happens each and every single time there's a moment like this.
Yeah, you're right. It does happen each and every time, except for the last inauguration, which was Joe Biden's inauguration 4 years ago, when Donald Trump, who was then sitting president in the White House, refused to attend the inauguration of Joe Biden and did not invite him for tea on the morning, as is tradition. So this, Joe Biden decided not to repay him in the same way and reverted to tradition. He is an institutionalist, and he invited the Trumps, as has been historically, to the White House for that traditional morning tea ahead of the ceremony. We understand that when they arrived, Joe Biden said to Donald Trump, "Welcome home," because of course Donald Trump has lived in that house already for 4 years before Joe Biden. And then he was asked by reporters, what is the message you have for Donald Trump today? And he said just one word: that is joy. So a very different attitude from current President Joe Biden towards incoming President Donald Trump from the one that Donald Trump had when he was leaving the White House to Joe Biden 4 years ago.
And Kate, of course, the decision to then move it a bit more indoors, of course, that, speaks to the weather patterns. Let's talk about that decision. But also, apart from the weather concerns, does it change things at all?
Yeah, it does change things, definitely, because there are hundreds of thousands of people here in Washington, D.C. who had been hoping to watch that inauguration ceremony in person, going to the National Mall where millions of people can fit onto that area of grassland in the center of Washington, D.C., facing the Capitol, where the inauguration ceremony was due to take place on the steps of the Capitol. And that means that all those people are not going to be able to view the ceremony in the way they'd hoped, and those that had tickets to it will not be able to either, because it's now going indoors inside the Capitol building, and so far fewer people will be able to have access in there. So it will be a much smaller ceremony, and there will be many Trump supporters who are frustrated that they can't get close. However, there will be the big arena here in Washington, D.C., the Capital One Arena, is opening its doors again. It was where Donald Trump held a rally just last night. It will open its doors again. It has seating for 20,000 people. So there will be many Trump supporters who will go in there, watch it on the big screen, and then Donald Trump himself is going to go to the Capital One Arena to speak to his supporters once again. And we understand that the military parades that usually take place through the streets of Washington on Inauguration Day and now won't be happening outside because they don't want people standing in the cold, they will also, part of those parades will now take place in the arena as well. So it will be a very different look to a traditional inauguration ceremony, but one that we're told has to happen this way because it is just so cold. Because of course people aren't just going to stand outside for a few minutes, they'd be standing outside for hours waiting for things to happen and then watching things. And so the decision was made that it was safer for everybody if it moves inside.
And briefly then, Kate, so in light of the smaller crowd inside, who is then expected to be part of it?
Well, it makes the guest list even more special, if you like. There will be every former living US president. They will all be there to watch Donald Trump return to power. And several of them have said openly that they do not believe that that is a good thing for America, but they will all be there to watch this. Also, some of the richest men in the world, certainly the richest, South African Elon Musk will be there. Of course, a very close confidant and ally of Donald Trump. Jeff Bezos, the owner of Amazon, the second richest man in the world, he will be there. And Mark Zuckerberg, another tech billionaire who owns Meta, that owns Facebook. He will be there too. And the chief executive of TikTok, which is currently the social media app, is really in trouble here in the US because there has been a law to stop it being used here that the Biden administration has introduced. Donald Trump is saying he's going to change that because he wants to see TikTok working in the US. He said it really helped him during his election campaign. So the chief exec of TikTok will also be there. So some very rich and powerful people will be right beside the president-elect as he takes that oath of office. And I think that kind of shows you the kind of tone that the president is setting for his next 4 years, that he wants to keep those tech billionaires with their wealth and their power close to him.
All right, Kate, thank you so much for your time. I'll let you go. I know that you have to, of course, now start being a part of what's taking place out there. Thank you so much for covering this for us. That's Kate Fisher there, SABC News Correspondent.